Hi, Nan Jensen here. This is my third attempt at a video about trusts, and this video is specifically for people with disabilities, particularly if you have a learning disability or a cognitive disability and you found it difficult to understand my other videos. Before I get started, I need to give my disclaimer. So this is information only. This is not legal advice, and you should not rely on anything you hear in this video. In order to get legal advice, you need to speak to a lawyer. You need to tell them your entire situation, and they need to give you a letter of engagement. A letter of engagement says what kind of advice they are going to give you and how much it's going to cost. Once you've signed that letter of engagement, then you have engaged the lawyer. That means the lawyer is now working for you, and they have to give you advice and do everything to help you and to act in your best interests. Okay, so I just want to talk quickly about what is a trust, and then I want to talk a little bit about your rights if you are a beneficiary of a trust. So a trust is something that has existed for a long, long time. And the very basic concept of it is that the person who sets up the trust is called the settlor. The settlor chooses one or more people that they trust, and those people are called the trustees. They give whatever property they want to put in the trust to the trustees. And the trustees' job is to hold it safe, to keep all that property safe, whatever it is. It could be all different things. It could be land and buildings. It could be money. It could be other stuff like cars or furniture or teddy bears, anything like that. The trustees have to hold the trust property safe, and they have to protect it and use it to benefit the people called the beneficiaries. So the beneficiaries are the people who get to benefit from whatever is in the trust. And the trustees are called trustees because they are people that are trusted to hold that property, but they only hold it for the benefit of the beneficiaries, not for their own benefit. Now, nowadays, sometimes people are both a trustee and a beneficiary. It is still their job to consider the needs of all the beneficiaries when they are deciding how to use the trust property to benefit the beneficiaries. So, for you, if you are a beneficiary of a trust, you may not even know. Somebody may have set up a trust and made you a beneficiary. That might be your mom or dad or both your parents. It could be your grandparents or one of your grandparents, or it could be some other relative. That's the most normal situation. And they may have set the trust up for a number of different purposes, and there may be many people who are beneficiaries of the trust. So if it was your grandparent who set up the trust, then there could be many beneficiaries because they may have named their own children and their children's children, in other words, their grandchildren, to benefit from the trust. So just because you are a beneficiary doesn't mean that you have a right to any of the trust property. Whether you have any rights to trust property really depends on what wishes were expressed by the person who set up the trust. Now, you still have rights, though, if you are a beneficiary. You have the right to know that you are a beneficiary of a trust, and you have the right to certain basic information about a trust. So the next question then is, how could a trust help you? So trusts don't always just give away money. A trust could, for example, own a house that you can rent from it. And you're still renting, like you might be if you rented somewhere else. But if the trust is owning a house for you to live in, then it's probably keeping it to make sure that you have a permanent place to live and not one that might suddenly be sold and then you're told you have to leave. So that's one example of how a trust might help you as a beneficiary. Another way a trust might help you would be to pay some of your bills or to buy something for you that you need. A trust could, for example, own a car, and your support workers could drive you around if you don't drive yourself. So the trust could be helping you by providing that vehicle. So there are many different ways that a trust can help you. Some trusts also give people cash. That's also a possibility. It really depends on what is in the trust. Some trusts only have a house. So a trust that only has a house would find difficulty in giving you money if it doesn't have any. So that's just an example. Now, you do have rights, as I said, to know something about the trust and to know that you are a beneficiary. You also have the right to request information about a trust. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you will get that information. I want to explain, and this is the hardest part, and this is why I'm doing 3 different videos, I've made 3 attempts to make the video. If you do want to get information about a trust that you are a beneficiary of, or that you think you may be a beneficiary of, then you may need help to get that information and to make that request. It's really important that the person you get to help you, not just for this, but for anything, is somebody you can really trust. And I've spent a lot of time thinking about how do you know who you can trust, because all of us can run into situations where we trust somebody and it wasn't the person to trust. Now, I'm a lawyer. It's not really my job to tell you who you can trust. But I was thinking today and I came up with these things. If somebody's asking you for things all the time, asking you for money, asking you to give them your things, or asking you to do things that you're not very comfortable with, or asking you to do things that you think might be illegal, then that may not be someone you can trust. It's important that you find somebody you can trust to help you. And often a lawyer can help you with these things. But again, if somebody is asking you, is very interested in your money, interested to know about the trust, and is asking you for things a lot, then it might be best not to see their lawyer, but to find an independent lawyer or someone who's not connected to that person. The lawyer can help you find out the basic trust information. Now, there is a lot more information about a trust, for example, what's in the trust and all sorts of other things that you may be able to ask for, but you won't necessarily get. There is a long list of things that the trustees may consider before they decide whether to give you trust information or not. I'm not going to list all those things, but some of those things would be, they'd need to consider how it might affect you or how it might affect your relationship with your family before they decide to give you the information. They may also consider that you might not understand the information, but that's where you would want to have somebody who can help you understand that information, and then they can't really use that excuse. So, like I said, you can't always expect to get things out of a trust, especially if you didn't put anything into the trust. But you do have the right to certain information, and you may need help to get that information, and it's really important that you get help from people that you can trust. I hope this video has been helpful to you. There are contact details for me on my Facebook page, so if you want to get in touch with me, you're very welcome. Thanks for listening to my videos. This is the last one in my series about welfare guardians, property managers, trusts and wills, and enduring powers of attorney. Sorry about that noise. That was from my brand new doorbell. And I look forward to seeing you in my next set of videos. I'm going to do a series of videos about education law. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.